What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Uh, Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to talk about Jason Whitlock calling out Ryan Clark, accusing Ryan Clark of playing the race card, right? And about the Shedeur Sanders situation. Some statements that some of the some people around the NFL, general managers and scouts have made about Shedeur Sanders. Ryan Clark seems to believe that the statements was some of the statements have been racial, right? And so Jason Whitlock has called out Ryan Clark for allegedly playing a race card. So I want to listen to Jason Whitlock and Ryan Clark's statements, and then I want to give my input on what I think is the situation with Ryan Clark and Shedeur Sanders. So here we go with this.
Ryan Clark's comments about Shedeur Sanders and where he basically played the race card that there's some sort of skin color that Shedeur has that NFL teams just aren't comfortable with. Let's hear from Ryan Clark.
We all know that they plant these certain reports or they say these certain things, and you do hear the word arrogant. Why is he arrogant? Because he won't walk into the meeting and bend the knee, or he won't sit in the meeting and question himself or his abilities or his knowledge and experience in the game. I don't believe that that's arrogance. I want a quarterback that's self-assured. I want a quarterback that could cut the film on, and when you ask him a question about why did you make this mistake or why did you make this throw or why was this the right read, I want him to be able to regurgitate that to me like he's in the play at the moment, the same way a coach or an offense coordinator would, because that's what he's going to have to do. And I've had conversations with Shedeur Sanders, and he can do that. We all know that it's not just about him being Deion Sanders' son. It's about the bravado he carries. It's about the fact that he looks a certain way. It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at that position can be questioned. And I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to have to deal with that until he gets on the field. Now,
there you have it. Surprise.
With what Ryan Clark just said, like that could be true, but the thing is about that, I think that maybe some general managers or some scouts don't appreciate this young black guy coming in with confidence and not really bending the knee, right? As Ryan Clark said. That could be true, or it could be, or maybe it's not true. Right, but it's really hard for you to know that, for certain, unless somebody really just comes out and just really just blatantly says, that that's how they feel about the situation. So it could be or it couldn't be true, right? So, but let me play what the response that Jason Whitlock has to what Ryan Clark says.
He has a skin color that can be questioned at that position, according to Ryan Clark. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts just played in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has won 3, I believe. Lamar Jackson's won 2 or 3 MVP trophies. What are we talking about, Ryan? This is like, these guys, they go a few seconds, a few weeks. Oh, I don't have any traction. Let me play the race card. Oh, I just got off the phone with Deion Sanders, because he mentions in there that he's talked to Deion. I just got off the phone and Deion's frustrated. Shedeur's not going to go in the first 2 or 3 picks of the draft. It must be racism. Oh, there's questions about Shedeur's arrogance. Oh, that must be racism. Now, we all know that if a white quarterback, there were questions about his arrogance or his attitude. If he were, let's say, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, if Shedeur, who carries himself exactly like Johnny Manziel, and people had all kinds of questions about Johnny Manziel's attitude and arrogance and whether or not he was self-aware enough, Those questions are all perfectly fine. He's Johnny Manziel. He's white. But because Shedeur's skin is black and his dad is Deion Sanders and Ryan Clark just happened to talk to Deion and Shedeur, now if you have these questions about the guy that spent is pointing to watches and being very arrogant and the whole rap persona, he wants to be a rapper. If you have any questions about that, well, of course, it's only racism. What else could it be? You're not allowed to question Shedeur Sanders.
Whether you're using unencrypted or
All right. So now, so obviously, Jason Whitlock don't agree with Ryan Clark, right? So and both guys, like it would be hard to disprove what Jason Whitlock's saying, because Johnny Manziel he was arrogant and he was a boastful, confident young player, and a lot of people didn't appreciate that about Johnny Manziel. Baker Mayfield too. He was a white guy, and people don't appreciate like the attitude and the confidence that Baker Mayfield had, right? And Shedeur Sanders, same thing with him, right? So, and Ryan Clark makes some points, about it could be racism. On the other hand, you have Jason Whitlock making points that it maybe it's not, it's probably not racism. But my take is you don't know either way what it is. And so if you think that you're being discriminated against because of the color of your skin, or your religion, or you might be a female or something like that, either way you can't let it hold you back, right? Either way you have to, if you think you are and you're not sure, you still can use that as motivation, to get where you're trying to get in life. You got to use that as motivation. And like I said earlier, unless somebody just comes right out and tell you that I don't like you because you are black, I don't like you because you white, I don't like you because you are you're female, or something like that. Unless they come out and it's really just it's hard to prove, right? And so either way, you're going to have to fight through that and persevere. Um, and like I said, and don't let that stop you, and try to and definitely put everything you have into accomplishing your goals. And so that'll have to be like Baker Mayfield. And I was never a Baker Mayfield fan, but Baker Mayfield, people didn't appreciate his like I said, his bravado and his arrogance and stuff like that. He did something. He showed up a coach when he was at Cleveland, and I didn't like that, right? I didn't think that was cool for him to do. But he, like he still was able to persevere. He looked like he has calmed down, and he's learned his lesson. Baker Mayfield turned into a pretty good quarterback, in my opinion, right? And so that's the goal. The goal is for you to be successful in the NFL, and not try to, people. I do believe that people, when you're coming in, people want to humble you. People want you to be humble. And when you're not humble, that causes resentment. And people resented Baker Mayfield. They resent this kid, Shedeur Sanders, because he don't come from humble beginnings. So he's not really going to be a humble person, just like look at who his father is. Johnny Manziel, he wasn't a humble person. He was confident, and like I said, Baker Mayfield has really he's persevered. I remember Baker Mayfield he was giving an interview to Colin Cowherd, and Colin Cowherd told him to his face that he thought that he was overrated and not really a good quarterback. This was a couple years ago, and here we are a few years later, and this guy is still in the league doing his thing. And that's the goal. No matter what people feel about you, what people think about you, you got to get out there and persevere. So Baker Mayfield could have went out like Johnny Manziel, but he didn't do that. He proved that he can play, that he belonged in the NFL. That's why and so now he has earned people respect. I think he's still as confident, Baker Mayfield, as he was when he first came in, but he's not as boastful as he was. I think at times he probably still, a little bit boastful, but for the most part, you can see a change in him. He's more mature about the situation, the way he handled things. And I think Shedeur Sanders will have to be that too. He's gonna have to get out there on the field and prove that he belong out there. And he can't he won't get anywhere crying about what people think about him. He got to get out there and play. He got to get out there and prove that he belong out there. He got to get out there and win the respect of his teammates, his coaches, and win the respect of his opponents. And that's what it's all about, getting that respect and proving to people that you belong out there. I've never seen anybody you can't really accomplish anything by like complaining about what people think about you. You got to get out there, and you make the naysayers, and you make people who try to drag your name through the mud. You make them look like fools when they saying you don't belong or they don't want you here, and you get out there and you perform. You make them have to eat their words, and that's what I dig about Baker Mayfield. I wasn't a big Baker Mayfield fan, because I just wasn't, but he has he definitely earned my respect, and I'm sure he earned a lot of different people respect just because of the fact that he got out there and proved that he belonged out there. And so that's the same thing. No matter, I don't know if uh Shedeur Sanders is facing racism or not. Like I said, because unless somebody come out and say, I don't like you because you black, what can you do? Like I said, you got to just get out there um, and do your thing, prove that you belong out there. And so if somebody is racist or they prejudice in any kind of way, and they don't like you because of your skin color or your religion or your sex or something like that, and you still persevere, that's hate that they have to swallow them. That's something that they have to bottle up inside of them. So all to combat that, you make them bottle up that hate inside of themselves with your success. And that's it. That's all you can do. So I'm sure that Shedeur Sanders will get the opportunity to play in the NFL because he has earned that right. He earned that right to be there. So once he get there, then he have to now you have to earn people's respect. And so what people think about you is that's on them, and make people have to bottle that up, because they can't come out and tell you flat out, why they don't like you or if they don't like you because of your skin color. So they have to bottle that up. And I would not want to have to bottle up that type of anger or that type of emotion, because that just destroys you. Not it won't destroy Shedeur Sanders unless Shedeur Sanders allowed that to destroy him. And the same thing went for Baker Mayfield. People didn't like him because he was, he wasn't humble and he was brashful and he was brash, I should say, and so, what can you say about Baker Mayfield now? He looking pretty good down there in Tampa Bay. He getting to the bag. So you can't let that affect you though. But yeah, so I wouldn't when it comes to Ryan Clark and Jason Whitlock, man, it's not even necessary to pick a side in that type of argument. You got to get out there on that field and prove that you belong out there. That's the only thing that matters. And so that's my take on it. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm pretty close to 10,000. Please subscribe and help me get to 10,000. And with that being said, also don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I said about, getting out there and just proving that you need to be out there, that you want it, that you're supposed to be out there. Shedeur Sanders earned that right. And if somebody is harboring those type of feelings and animosity, like I said, against you, make them have to bottle that type of hate up and that's on them. I wouldn't want that in my spirit. So Yeah, man. And like I said, please subscribe, and I'll check you out on the next video. Peace.